Thank you all for joining us today for our webinar. And we have participants joining. We might wait for a couple of more minutes, 1 or 2 minutes more, for to wait for a few more participants to join. So today's webinar is on future-proofing leaders to continuously succeed in digital evolving economy. And we have Payal with us today, who would be presenting the webinar. Payal, shall we start, or would you like to wait for 1 more minute or so?
Deepa, I think let's get started, and anybody who joins in late can refer to the recording later. I'm sure the session is being recorded, if that's all right.
Yes, we have started the recording as well. Yes. So thank you all for joining us. And like I was saying, today's topic is future-proofing leaders to continuously succeed in digital evolving economy. And this webinar of today's is being presented by StratBeans in association with Skillsoft. Let me quickly brief you about StratBeans and Skillsoft. So StratBeans is a leading e-learning company providing 360-degree digital transformation solutions to improve employee performance through e-learning products and solutions such as online content digitization, learning management system, knowledge management system, and various platforms and tools for learning collaborations. Now, let me also talk about Skillsoft. Skillsoft is a global leader in corporate learning, delivering beautiful technology and engaging content that drives business impact for modern enterprises. Skillsoft provides a comprehensive selection of cloud-based corporate learning content, including courses, videos, books, and other resources on business and management skills, leadership development, digital transformation, technology and developer, productivity and collaboration tools, and compliances. Before I introduce today's speaker, Payal, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. All the participants will be on mute during the entire session. If you have any questions during the presentation, just write them in chat or QA box available in the control panel. We will answer all the questions during the last 15 minutes of the session. And let's move ahead and let me quickly introduce Payal Chawla. Payal is a professional service design head of Skillsoft India and Asia. She has over 17 years of experience across industry and specializes in driving performance and business results by understanding business strategies and utilizing this knowledge to develop and implement customized, people-focused, and innovative learning and development solutions that take place in the flow of work. Welcome, Payal. Glad to have you here. We all are pretty excited for today's learning on leadership from you. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you very much, Deepa, and thank you to the StratBeans teams for having me here. And a very good morning to everyone who has actually taken the time from their busy schedules. I know there are a lot of webinars and online events taking place nowadays. So, there is a bit of fatigue which we started to see, and I hope that, everybody who's joined us today will find today's session worthy of their time. So thank you so very much once again, everybody, for joining us. So with that, we'll get started. And I wanted to really start by reflecting on, how the world is changing today. And it is changing significantly. I mean, it's changing constantly. And, we all see that. When you look around, you will see that there are disruptions happening everywhere. Today we see at least 5 generations in the workforce, all with their own thought processes, different learning styles, different expectations. Most of them have consumer-based expectations. Since majority of the workforce is technologically very sound and use technology for almost everything, and more so now in the last few months, we've seen. As such, we see that there are consumer-based expectations in every context, including learning. On top of that, there are rapid changes happening because of technology, which is constantly evolving. There are mergers, acquisitions, there is rising skill gap. And then to top it all, we have natural disruptions now leading to extraordinary times, which no one had foreseen. And now that we're kind of, starting to settle down in this pandemic-driven world, what is the probability, if you really think about it, what is the probability that an unforeseen situation like this won't happen again? I mean, right now we're facing possibly the biggest disruption that business has seen in this century. I mean, this pandemic has turned actually into the accelerant that is forcing us to adapt and transform to both, a digital economy and an economy of stress and change. But when we think about these disruptions in the context of business, be it because of shift in technology or because of some natural factors or, anything else, when you think about these disruptions in the context of business, we see that it impacts not just a particular industry or a particular vertical, but it actually affects every single one of them, which means that every single one of them needs to adapt and, needs to embrace technology at different levels for any organization to be successful. I mean, technology, of course, or digital, of course, plays a vital role in business transformation. But if you really think about it, what really lies at the core of it really is for an organization to have a digital mindset and be able to drive innovation, because if organizations don't do that, well, they will be left behind. So the question really is, who drives that digital mindset and innovation in an organization? I mean, is it the job of a CTO or a CIO or a CEO? Is this, a part of just their agenda? If you think about it, the answer really is no. I mean, while a CTO or a CIO or a CEO might have this as top priority in their agenda, transforming business through innovation requires every leader in an organization to be part of that agenda and, really own it regardless of, where they sit in the hierarchy, because, ultimately when all verticals and, all functions are going to have to adapt, every leader at all levels within these verticals and functions are going to have to play their part. So, what really that means is that as a learning and development function, it is then our responsibility to ensure that our L&D and our, particularly, the leadership development efforts, and that's the topic of the day, our leadership development efforts really align with the constantly changing business environments. And, for that, as an L&D team, we need to understand, what are the key challenges that leaders are faced with today? What are some of the imperatives, some of the essentials for leaders to be successful in an uncertain environment? And, uncertainty is going to be there for long. So how do we prepare them to be able to focus on the skills and competencies that they need to have today to be able to combat those challenges? So let's take a look at some of the challenges faced by leaders today. The foremost challenges faced by leaders today are, of course, there is sustained uncertainty in business environments. I mean, there are disrupted supply chains, transforming consumer demands and behavior. All of that is really necessitating innovative go-to-market strategies. It also means that, existing business models are rendered obsolete overnight. And we've seen that happening so much in the last few months. And, new models need to evolve. Another thing that is happening is that, people engagement and development is becoming more and more critical, because as a leader now, it is one of your key challenges to continuously focus on developing people. And given the new remote format of our workplaces, it is, increasingly becoming more and more critical. And social distancing has increased greater reliance more than ever on digital tools and technology. So in order to successfully lead through this era of disruption, few imperatives that leaders today, I believe, need to act on are, first and foremost, is to have clarity of purpose. I mean, leaders really need to display that clarity of purpose, especially when it comes to the organization's vision, and, also be able to communicate it to their team. Very important. The second is communicate. And I have written that 3 times to stress enough on the fact that communication is very, very important. Even if it means, there could be an overdose, but you need to keep communicating constantly with your peers, with your teams, with your leadership. It's just non-negotiable. The third imperative is, because today the situation is unprecedented, uh, there is very little data that you can rely on for the purpose of decision making. So what that means is that, leaders need to be prepared to make decisions, despite all of those deficiencies. Leaders need to learn to live with what we call as the maybe, because, like I said, uncertainty is going to last for a long time now. And, even before we know it, we may be faced with another unknown, like I said. So, leaders need to be able to drive towards acquiring that actionable intelligence to help make decisions. And when we talk about people, I already said that, more than ever, aspects such as empathy, compassion, care, collaboration, all of these are really at the forefront when it comes to leading and managing people. And when it is, while it is said, necessity is the mother of invention, the emerging fact really is that it is the mother of innovation. So I heard recently in one of the sessions, someone mentioned, you either innovate or you perish. So, the most important point that I'm really trying to make here is that when a leader is focused on all of these imperatives, they are going to be prepared to adapt and handle disruption of, any volume, any nature. And so it will be safe to say that their leadership skills will be future proof. Now, let's look at the leadership skills required by leaders today. Now, well, there are analysts and gurus who have actually prescribed the leadership skills for tomorrow. I think constant disruption and now the pandemic really compels us to look at leadership skills needed now in the current time. And these are some of the must-have skills that we believe are required by leaders now. Of course, the first and foremost is leading through disruption, by seizing the opportunity to innovate, building agility and resilience, not only in yourself, but, also in your people that you're leading, that you're managing, and your business. Developing new and required skills in your people, very, very important. And needless to say that leaders need to innovate for the survival of their business. And, at the same time, they need to foster a culture of innovation within their teams. And last but not the least, leaders need to leverage digital tools, techniques, and technology to transform business. We've seen that happening all the more in the last few months. So if we look at the reality of the state of leadership development, I picked up this data from one of the Brandon Hall researchers, and this tells you that, just 1 in 10 organizations really is at the elite level where leadership development is fully developed. I mean, it's completely aligned with the needs and goals of the business and focused on not just the current leadership needs, but on the future and the competencies, the capabilities and skills required in the digital age. Even though it has been proven that organizations with strongest digital leadership capabilities outperform those with weakest capabilities, and I have some statistics to show on subsequent slides to validate that, and that happens almost by 50%. Well, the reality is that it's only 2 in 5 organizations are developing leaders in the way that actually benefits business for tomorrow. So if we dive a little deeper into this subject, the potential of high quality leadership development is significant. I mean, organizations who are at level 3 and 4 of the leadership development maturity model, they tend to significantly outperform others around key business metrics, that they clearly have far better employee engagement, there's increased customer satisfaction, superior customer and employee retention. So, really clearly outperforming organizations with weaker leadership development practices. So it really is a no-brainer that companies with poor leadership have a significantly more cost implications. Their annual revenues are lower, they have higher employee turnover rate, there is area of improvement, when it comes to customer satisfaction, productivity. And by the way, what I found really alarming was that, the data indicates that up to 50% of new leaders fail on the job. So why does that happen? I mean, it happens in most cases because organizations, mainly because, organizations still stress traditional competencies like, strategic thinking, trust and integrity, team building, problem solving. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with these competencies, and clearly, these are needed as leaders progress in their careers. But they're not the ideal initial core competencies to focus on when you're developing emerging leaders. I mean, another survey that I was looking at, which was done by Deloitte, 81% leaders, and this is a very recent survey, by the way, 81% leaders, when they were surveyed around unique requirements for 21st century leaders, they cited their ability to lead through complexity and ambiguity as the most important one. So, what that means is that L&D today needs to focus on the paradigm shift that has been happening in leadership competencies from the traditional to the digital. And the most important shift that we've seen happening is around hero leader to hero team. I mean, leadership today is no longer about really being at the top of the hierarchy, using command and control while being the sole driver of your agenda. I mean, that does not work anymore. In this era, leaders are needed at all levels. They need to be organized in teams with effective collaboration as one of the key capabilities, to be able to influence mindsets, to inspire innovation, and that's when they will be able to deliver results. And they must have the mindset and ability to leverage technologies like data analytics, design thinking, being agile, artificial intelligence, to be able to make decisions and innovate. Now, not everybody needs to know everything about these technologies, but the awareness really varies at different levels, but everybody needs to have that digital mindset is the point that I'm trying to make. So the question really is, how do we provide the right opportunities for leaders to develop the right skill set and right competencies? In other words, how do we align our leadership development programs to these 21st century skills and competencies, and to address the needs of a 21st century modern leader? So, we're going to talk about a few essentials that we've pulled together for Modern Leadership Development Program. And a good place to start is by really addressing some of the leadership development failure factors. When you know what you should not do, you increase the probability of you doing the right thing. So some of the key reasons, why leadership programs don't succeed is because there is lack of attention to specific contextual factors. And this is a very, very important point, and I'm going to dive deeper into it in the subsequent slides as well. But, that context building is very, very important. Also, current leadership programs, a lot of them, there is a gap between teaching, reflection, and application. There is overemphasis on individual versus team leadership. It has to be a combination of how do you lead yourself, how do you lead your team, how do you lead your business, rather than just focusing on, how do you lead yourself as an individual. Also, there is very important, very, very critical lack of important modern competencies in most development programs. I mean, we just looked at the data that still suggests that, organizations are focused on the traditional competencies versus focusing more also on these modern digital competencies. So you definitely need to look at that. And then, in most development programs, there isn't enough learner control over development. And, in a lot of cases, they're not actionable. So if you're focusing on all the things to the right, that is building enough context for the learner, your program, including compelling activities for them to learn, reflect, and then apply learning on a continuous basis, by focusing on team scenarios. Very important is by focusing on the modern digital competencies while, giving them enough freedom and enough control over their own learning and, making their learning very actionable with the use of scenario-based activities and, demonstration of exemplary behaviors. That is really going to make a good leadership program. Now, the next thing to really look at here are, some of the key ingredients that we've pulled together, and we believe these are very effective for a modern leadership development program. And I want to share 3 key ones with you today, which you would want to consider when you are designing or relooking at your leadership program. You see, the content is key here. I mean, we conducted a research with MIT to understand and validate the most effective manner in which a modern learner really learns and retains learning. And, that is in a scenario-based learning style. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in detail subsequently, but that was a very interesting research that we did. The second aspect is to look at, having sequenced journeys, which are pre-curated journeys, making learning absolutely relevant, and it also accelerates learning for the learner because you're giving everything which is absolutely relevant to the learner, especially in context of current times. If you're looking at really developing leaders at a fast pace, these journeys will make a lot of sense. And then the third ingredient is to look for strategic collaborations for best of breed expertise when it comes to especially when it comes to digital leadership development, because there are aspects of digital leadership which are very different from the traditional ones when it comes to the digital impact. So this is very, very important again. The next thing to really look at is the recipe. So how do you put all of these ingredients together for coming up with a future-proof solution for modern leadership development? I already mentioned that, content is key. So you need to consider whether, your content is engaging in a way that is validated by modern research, that it is proven that, it's the best content that has the best impact on the modern learner. Also, gone are the days, where individuals and organizations really had the time and money to step away from work and attend single or multi-day programs. Today, learners need short bursts of information delivered to their mobile device. Learning needs to fit into the white space of the calendar. Like, they would want to read a quick article over breakfast or maybe listen to an audiobook on their phone. during the morning commute, or watching a short video on how to have difficult conversations just before they're going to have that conversation. So you want to make sure that you're providing for all of those opportunities in your program. You need to also consider, if you're giving enough opportunity for leaders to come together and collaborate during their process of learning. I mean, we have seen in several of our engagement that learners, when grouped together in cohorts, they find it very compelling to not just learn, but to reflect and apply that learning to be able to have their experiences, which they can come back and share with their peers in their cohort. Really well. You also need to have sufficient program management in your leadership program, because that is essential for you to keep your learner engaged throughout the learning process, and also for you to be able to periodically track and measure the effectiveness of your program, whether everything you're doing is right, you need to shift gears, fine tune anything, and so on and so forth. And last but not the least, you need to incorporate action projects to make sure that learners are able to apply learning in real life scenarios and track their own development with the success of those projects. So we are actually going to show you an example now of how you can leverage technology to be able to provide the most effective learning experience aligned to the needs of a modern learner. So I'm going to hand over the stage to my colleague Lingeshwar Reddy, who has joined me today. He's our solution architect and is excited to demonstrate some of the key components that I spoke about today on our award-winning platform called Percipio, which is Latin for acquiring knowledge. So with that, Lingeshwar, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Payal, and I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, it is. Perfect.
Good morning, everyone. Are you able to see my screen, Payal?
Yes, all good.
Awesome. So in context with what Payal has mentioned and described about, the modern leadership, I'd like to start by saying in today's changing world, anyone within a team can be called upon to be a leader at a moment's notice. However, achieving success requires new mindsets focused on growth and problem solving. And that is exactly what Skillsoft Leadership Development Program, powered by MIT Sloan Management Review, is designed for. That is, to build digitally capable leaders and support every leader's growth throughout their career. And also help organizations grow while giving everyone the skills it takes to be a leader. Right. Now, Skillsoft Leadership Development Program covers and is aligned with around 30 of today's most modern, critical, and digital leadership competencies through these three main pillars areas, which we call as 1, leading the business, 2, leading yourself, 3, leading your team. Now, all our high quality content throughout this program is pre-curated into what we call as channels, very specific to the need. For example, you want to explore and learn how to lead with customer first approach in business. We have a channel for that. Or how important critical thinking is for a leader in a decision-making situation. We have a channel for that. Or women in leadership, we also have a channel for that. Let's take an example of, quickly into customer first leadership. As mentioned, this program offers pre-curated and contextualized content with multi-modality learning, which democratizes the freedom of choice. That is basically, as a learner and leader, you choose how to learn. That is, we offer multi-modality learning opportunities where you can watch videos, you can read throughout the books, listen to audiobooks, and practice all in single page, and all anywhere, anytime, and however you want. You can see all these, right? And this helps leaders to reflect upon their learning experience and an application of it throughout the leadership journey. As I mentioned, the journey of this program. At the heart of this program are scenario-based courses that are validated by research, as Payal already mentioned this, to improve engagement and outcomes. In conjunction with MIT and Accenture, Skillsoft conducted scientific research that showed learners are more attentive and focused when they're learning via a scenario-based course versus an instructor-led course, right? Now, here is what we see. under a Skills of Leadership Development Program features, which is a unique learning design and scenario-based training to engage modern learners and leaders through compelling drama and storytelling, which covers all the adult learning principles, from providing learners with the learning objectives into various parts. That is introduction, which introduces and provides the objectives of every aspect. And every aspect of a course is broken down, if you see here on the screen, into various micro and macro learning sessions. So not to overwhelm the learners or the leaders with a continuous learning theory, every main subject or a channel which we're learning today is broken down into various micro and macro learning sessions within every course. And it ensures that you get the learning objectives, provides the overview of what you're going to learn today, if there are any prerequisites available, and what objectives the user or the leader will achieve at the end of this learning. At the same time, you also have regular recaps embedded and review courses which are embedded within the course content itself. If you see here, we see something called knowledge check, which will help you to evaluate, review, and see how well your learning is going on till now, and then continue with your course again. Additionally, insights from industry level experts and the world gurus in these aspects are embedded, the likes of Dan Pink and Marshall Goldsmith are embedded throughout each of the courses to create most engaging content and make sure that self-paced leadership courses available today in the market. Here are leadership insights, which, one of the references or an example of what I just quoted, right? You have world leaders and gurus of these specific areas talking about it and providing leadership journey aspects, the traits, the success factors, best practices, etc., sharing all the insights and knowledge, right? Supplemental resources like, your practice sessions, book summaries, audio books under your practice area, and on-the-job tools also help round this multi-modal learning solution that is designed to support and ensure leaders are continuously succeeding in a digitally evolving economy. If you see, here are the handouts where a leader can practice on what he learned in certain aspect of the journey throughout that course in various formats. It will give you hands-on practice tools to implement the learning in day-to-day leadership role throughout your career. And which brings me to conclude by saying Skills of Leadership Development Program is an innovative development program crafted to prepare leaders to effectively lead and manage teams in today's digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lingeshwar. So I'm going to take the screen back from you. Just give me one quick second. Thank you so much for that quick and elaborate at the same time demonstration. So, we wanted to just kind of give you a quick sense of how all of what we are talking about is possible with the use of technology, and how do we make sure here at Skillsoft that the learning programs are efficient. And one thing is very clear: you need to significantly leverage technology if you want a scalable solution. And technology is absolutely important, not just from a scalability perspective, but now also from a feasibility perspective, given the current challenges we are faced with. I don't know when is it that we can expect to have training happening in a classroom type of environment again, but does that mean that things are going to be at halt? Well, the answer is technology. So, how is it that we are making sure here at Skillsoft, like I said, that learning programs are efficient? Let's look at that. First of all, what we're doing is helping us combat the big time challenge. Like I said before, leaders, anybody, in fact, but since the topic is leaders today, they're absolutely time strapped with only 1% of a learner's work week really being available to them for learning. And even more so now. I mean, working from home has done anything it has made all of us busier than before, isn't it? So it's really important to think about how can we make learning effective in that limited amount of time. Now, we both, Lingesh and I, have spoken to you about this research that we have done here at Skillsoft. We partnered with MIT and the McGovern Institute for Brain Research. So, what you see on the screen right now is actually an Accenture employee in an MIT lab, and they're looking at Skillsoft courses. And while they're looking at that, that experiment is being done, and it actually validated that what we are doing here with our content, and what's happening is that they're using EEG and fMRI technology to measure both how hard the activation is in your brain and what part of the brain the activation is. So we are now very confident that through this brain science research, we know scientifically what engages people, what interests people. And one of those things actually is scenario-based learning. So not only telling people what good looks like, but also showing people using scenarios. So this has really driven to ensure that the content itself, the content itself, and not just the means, is engaging, and which is why we partnered with MIT Sloan Management Review last November, and this collaboration is really not just to make sure that the content makes sense, but because like us, they also believe that technology and digital economy needs a very different treatment than what we had in the past. Similarly, you want to ensure that there are a number of different modalities. We saw Lingesh showing that, and it's important because you want to give that freedom to your learners to choose how they want to learn as per their preferred learning style. Our organization believes not just in courses and videos, but we want to have to be able to allow learners to watch, to read full books, as well as book summaries, to listen to audiobooks, and also practice. The ability in our leadership program is to be able to have the practice assets that you can have right away for your meeting, have PowerPoint presentations, discussion guides, all available for you to practice what you learn, actually having to create any of those yourself. So, you saw all of this is available in Percipio, and I don't need to tell you how effective it is as a learning experience platform because, it really has a good track record. It has bagged, Percipio has bagged several awards in the short time frame since its launch in 2018. So, as we move towards the conclusion, I just wanted to give you some food for thought in terms of evaluation. So should you be re-evaluating your learning program, or should you be thinking differently about your program, from a leadership perspective? If it is currently restricted to, these are some of the things you need to be really considering, whether, your current leadership program is restricted to a select few. So our advice is to scale that, democratize your leadership program. In other words, make it available to all to ensure everyone has the ability and that everyone has access to make a leadership decision when it's required. We need to also consider if, learning is sporadic, like, is it something that happens only once per quarter? Is it something that happens only for a specific group? And, wouldn't it be nice if, as a leader, I could just look at a leadership video, 3 minutes while I'm walking on my way to having my first critical conversation in a number of weeks, just to remind me, how to be most effective in that conversation. So, really have that just-in-time learning opportunity. And then, you need to also consider whether your leadership training program, the current one, is really contextualized, or, are you just being told what good looks like, or, are we really showing our learners the context? I mean, we here at Skillsoft use actors, and, we use scenarios. And again, our organization has the science that really validates that approach is absolutely effective. And then, whether or not your leadership training is too hard to access, very, very important. You need to consider that. I mean, make sure that it is easy to access, similar to the content they access on maybe Facebook or any other mobile app that they access. That is going to be very, very important. So as we come into the conclusion, I just wanted to recap by highlighting three key points, and that is, in a constantly disrupting environment, the role of a leader is central for navigating through unprecedented times and continuously moving the organization towards success. Also, that leadership is everybody's job, and we must, if we haven't already, start adopting and focusing on the modern digital competencies. And last but not the least, the role of L&D is critical in making sure that they're designing and investing in solutions which are scalable, while covering leaders at all levels of an organization, and not just limited to the top hierarchy or the high potentials. Be able to really provide the most engaging experience to the time-strapped modern learner. So with that, I think we have some time for Q&As, and I want to thank you all for listening to me today, and hopefully you found this useful. Let's get to taking some questions now, if we have any. Deepa, do we have any questions in the chat?
Sure. Thanks, Payal, and thank you, Lingeshwar. You have shared wonderful insights on leadership, and I'm sure participants would benefit. Now, I request participants to share their questions in chat or QA box for Payal. Payal, we have one question, and I would like to ask you, can you share some more insights on democratized in the context of leadership?
Okay, great. Thanks. That's a great question. So, leadership traditionally has been for high potentials, for high performers. I mean, they are people who already know that there are leadership positions waiting for them. If I can refer to a research done by Evergreen Group, it suggests that HR organizations are only able to fulfill only about 2 out of 3 leadership, really doing any extensive searches externally. And another Stanford data indicates that only 1 out of every 3 senior leaders actually have someone named to replace them if they leave the organization. So what does that really tell us? That leadership really is everybody's job. By democratizing it, meaning we mean that you need to make that leadership development opportunity available to everybody in the organization, irrespective of where they sit in the hierarchy. So I really hope that answers the question.
Yes, thanks, Payal. I should take the next question, which is from Vishal. He is asking, can you share some more insights on democratizing in the context of leadership? Okay, that is, we have already explained. Yeah. Let me have another question, which says, can you please share your insights on the top 3 and 4 topics that leaders are assessing right now?
Topic.
Top 3.
So I'm not sure. Top 3 topics. So, if you ask me top 3 topics that a leader really needs to focus on today, actually there are more than 3 that I can talk about, but if I have to really point out top 3, I would say that leading through the disruption, leading through the ambiguity and uncertain times is something that a leader definitely needs to look at. The other is people development. We spoke about things like compassion, empathy, care, collaboration. All of these keywords are really at the forefront, and those are the ones that every leader, especially in today's times, really need to keep at the forefront. And the third, I would say, is really focusing on being a digital savvy leader, because there is absolutely no way that you can avoid technology. Technology is something that has, caused a major disruption in our business environments for a long time, and it is going to continue to be like that. So, you really need to become that, have that digital savviness, not just in yourself, but, across your team. So I would say those are really three key things that every leader must be focused on today. And I hope that answers.
Yes, that was very well explained. Thank you, Payal. The next question is from Rakesh, which he is asking, with digital platform being used more and more, what are the pitfalls that one must avoid?
It's a really good question. And I think, using a digital platform does bring some of the challenges. Technology does bring, some challenges with it. So one of the things that you really need to uh, provide for, is something which I always advocate for is a combination of digital learning with some level of facilitator intervention. You want to call it blended learning, but not necessarily, really including classroom type of, training elements in your program. But, if you're exposing your leaders to a digital platform, build in enough opportunities for them to collaborate. Cohort style learning works extremely well. So, if you have a group of, let's say, 100 leaders, split them into smaller cohorts of about 25 participants each. Give them responsibility to be, accountable for their cohort on a monthly basis, and that is going to drive adoption. That is going to really keep the leaders engaged, and it is going to foster collaboration. So program management, as I mentioned before, is very, very important. So you have to have sufficient program management to keep your learner engaged throughout the learning process. So those are some of the things that you need to keep in mind if you want to be able to make your digital learning initiatives successful. And I hope that's helpful for you, Rakesh.
Thanks, Payal. I guess that was helpful. So Rakesh has another question, which he is asking is also, is there any kind learning intervention should not be done via digital medium?
It's a tricky question to answer, and I think I'm going to be a little prejudiced towards online learning because I completely support online learning, and I personally do not believe there's anything that cannot be trained or dealt with on a digital platform. So yeah, I mean, we've seen many examples of how people have come up with a lot of creativity and unique ways of collaborating with each other, be it your family, be it your friends, people have started partying on digital platform really, because we know that is the need of the hour. We have to maintain social distancing, but, we are social animals. We have to also at the same time be connected with, our friends and families and relatives and colleagues. So there's absolutely no learning intervention, if you ask me, that should not be done by a digital medium. Yes, there will be certain elements, additional elements, like I said, cohort style learning, maybe a facilitator led webinar that you would want to also incorporate in the overall scheme of things in your blended learning program. There's nothing that I can think of which cannot be done in a other digital medium.
Thanks, Payal. I hope, Rakesh, we were able to address your questions. Moving on to the next one, we have a question from Beena. She is asking, what are some good sources that leaders can find quick learnings from, like articles or short videos?
It's a good question, Beena. I would say that, there is plethora of information available online today. It is very important for us as, the learning and development team to make sure that, we are curating just what is relevant for the leader to be able to, access only what is required, because in that 1% of work week that is available for learning, you want to make sure that, they're not really struggling to find content and really, spending that 1% time only to find out what is relevant for them. That's where, our job is to make sure that, we're providing the right content, the relevant content to them, which is the most engaging, the most effective, and so on and so forth. Now, what kind of articles or videos? Well, that completely depends on what skill and competencies the leader really looking to develop. Once you've done that need identification, you can really pinpoint them to some of those articles. And that's why, our platform Percipio really plays a very vital role, because depending on whether the need of the learner is to read an article, from an MIT SMR resource, or video from a leader, industry thought leader, all of that is available, in that platform. So it becomes important to really have those kind of modalities available in your program, and those are backed by industry thought leaders and researches similar to the one that we did at MIT. But again, you really need to really know what is it that the leader is really looking to develop, to be able to provide them the most relevant content.
Thanks, Payal. I hope, Bina, you got the answer. Moving on to the next one, we have one question with a very interesting one. What are the typical budgets spent on leadership development in the organization? Means to measure ROI, value, and outcomes for the leadership development program.
Can you repeat that question for me? I lost you in between.
Sure, no problem. I'll do that. What are the typical budgets spent on leadership development in the organizations? Means to measure ROI, value, and outcomes for the leadership development programs.
Oh, okay. So, great question. I think the question is to understand what are the typical budgets available for measuring the outcome of a leadership development program. Did I get that right, Deepa?
Yep.
Right. So, typically when we look at leadership development, per se at an overall level, but then what we also notice is that it is really concentrated at the top level. So really heavy budgets for the top level leaders or the high potentials. And I think one of the points that I tried to make in my presentation today was to ensure that leadership is really something that we are democratizing, because it's not just a job of a high potential. They already know that they have leadership positions there for them, but how are you preparing the others? How are you building that pipeline in the organization? So that really makes a difference. Now the budget really depends on organization. There are several parameters that will come into play, in terms of how much focus, what's the total headcount and stuff like that. Typically, I think it is very important to allocate budget for the and even even if no budget, but you need to really account for measuring the effectiveness and outcome of your leadership development program. One way to do it is by rolling out a survey to measure whether the participants really like the program or not. If there's anything that you need to do to better the program that you're offering to them. The other is to also measure the success of the action projects that come as part of the action learning from that program. What is the success rate of those projects? And then be able to measure your return of investment by looking at parameters like that. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you, Payal. I hope we were able to address this question. And moving on to the next one, we have again an interesting question from Samir. So do you have some leadership learning suggestion for organizations who are in BPO and shared services space specifically?
In BPO and, again, your voice was cracking.
Shared services space specifically. Shared services.
Well, specific to the BPO industry, I have worked in the BPO industry for early in my career. But I would say, leadership really is the element of the industry. We saw, how the disruption is affecting every single industry, every single vertical and function within each industry. So it really is, independent of which industry you are part of. The three things that I cited as a response to one of the questions are something that every leader in every industry must really focus on today. I think one of the challenges that comes with the BPO industry is remote working, because that is something that it just doesn't work. I mean, you have to be present physically in the office. Traditionally, that's what we've seen. You have to be physically present. If you're in a voice environment, you have to have your headset on, be available for all the incoming call volume and stuff like that. So it really becomes very difficult to manage these teams when they have to operate remotely. So I think my suggestion for leaders in BPO will be to I think look at how to manage these remote teams more effectively, how to engage people, collaborate them while they are operating remotely, as one of the key things that I think leaders in BPO space really need to focus on.
Thanks, Payal. Thanks, Samir. I hope we were able to cover your question here. Moving on to the next, this is the last question I can see here, which is the content only for senior executives or is it for entry level?
Well, great question again. The content is for all levels. It's the curation that really matters. So for instance, there will be certain competencies which will be more relevant for a first-time leader versus, somebody who is more at a senior position. And that's where that, curation and pinpointing becomes important. So, you can direct the learner to the most relevant content that is meant for them. But the content, I'm assuming, your question is more in regards to what we showcased today as part of the demo. The content that you looked at today really is relevant for leaders at all levels, right from, the bottom to the top. Because, you saw that there are modalities which are related to, books and research articles from MIT. Those are more relevant for somebody who really wants to deep dive into a particular subject. So, those will be more relevant for somebody at a senior level or at the top level versus, somebody at the bottom of the hierarchy. So the simple answer is that yes, it is relevant for all because there's something for everybody in it.
Thanks, Payal. I guess we do not have more questions, but we'll wait for a minute or so in case there are any questions. In case you have any questions, please do type on the chat or a question and answer box. Yeah, so we have one question again from Bina. Can you expand upon the changing content strategy?
Can you expand on the changing content strategy?
Yes.
Very good question. I think the evolution really has happened in the overall, pedagogy of learning, as far as being able to provide that freedom to learn, number one. And when we say that freedom to learn is to be able to provide that variety of modalities, because everybody learns differently. Everybody has a preferred learning style. Somebody learns better by watching a video versus somebody who learns better by, who's a kind of aesthetic learner and who learns better by doing things. So, in a digital learning platform, are you really providing all of those opportunities to the learner is something that, we've seen as an evolution over a period of time. We also have seen that evolution in the content space, as far as the design of the content itself is concerned. I mean, I myself, when I compare our own content with what we used to have maybe 3 years before versus what we have now, I mean, there is significant change because there is significant evolution that has happened in the way learn. We saw that, in that research that, people learn better when exposed to scenario-based learning. So, that is the kind of, change that you need to be thinking of. Any change that you want to really bring to the design of your program or to the content that you're considering, one thing you need to definitely be mindful of is to be able to validate that the pedagogy behind the content really is supported by a research similar to the brain science research that we did. So that becomes really, really authentic and aligned with the modern trends in the space of learning and how learners typically learn today. So those are some of the things to bear in mind, I would say.
Thank you, Payal. Veena, I hope, yes, we were able to address that. Thanks, Veena, for the questions. And looks like we have answered all the questions. Payal, is there anything else you would like to mention?
Well, I would just say that, thanks so much, everybody, for taking the time out today. I mentioned in the beginning that, it's a busier time than before, even though, we're working from home, but there is a lot that we are having to manage. So you took the time out to be here today, and I hope it was any help, or you have any follow-up questions, you have Deepa's email on the screen. You can also reach out to me or Lingeshwar, if you want to get into a more detailed discussion regarding any aspect that you feel was not covered at length today, and we'll be happy to address that.
Thank you, Payal. Yeah, thank you once again, Payal and Lingeshwar, for sharing the experience. We have learned a lot from today's session from you on leadership. I will be sharing the webinar recording with you and the participants. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you next time. If you have any questions, please feel free to write us at deepa@stratbeans.com. Once again, thank you for your time and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.